Get ready for one of the most thrilling events of the season, the Whirlpool Gold Cup Race Day. This July 28th, join us for a spectacular showcase of equine excellence with 8 graded races in one exhilarating event. Feel the excitement as these magnificent athletes push themselves to the limit over the demanding 3,200 meter track. Will a new champion emerge, or will future Pearl and champion jockey defend their title? Don't miss out on this unforgettable day of top-tier racing as we close the season with high stakes and electrifying action at Hollywoodbets Greyville Racecourse. It's not just a race, it's a test of endurance, courage, and the relentless pursuit of victory.
Welcome to the preview for the Whirlpool Gold Cup race meeting that takes place on Sunday, the 28th of July 2024, racing at Hollywoodbets Greyville. And we've got 10 feature races on the program. Races 1 up till race number 10. It's going to be a top-class race meeting here at Hollywoodbets Greyville, and looking forward to it. We are going to be taking you through races 6 up until race number 9. We've got 4 grade 1s on the day, 3 grade 2s, and we've got 1 grade 3, which is the Whirlpool Gold Cup itself, that being race number 7 over 3,200 meters. Race number 6 will be the Mercury Sprint over 1,200 meters. That is a grade 1. Race 7, the Gold Cup, as I mentioned. Race number 8, the HKJC Champions Cup, a grade 1 over 1,800 meters. And then race number 9 will be the Riding High Together Gold Bracelet over the 2,000 meter trip. And that is a grade 2 contest that gets underway at 5:30 on Sunday afternoon. It is a panel of 4, and I'm going to introduce them one by one. We've got Warren Lenferner. He's a man that he loves racing. He wears his heart on his sleeve, but running second is something that he certainly does not take too well. Warren, good to have you. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Raheel, and to my colleagues and friends around the table. Absolutely. As an owner and as a punter, second is no good. Either we must win or run third.
Sure.
So second is, everyone has pet hates in racing. And I know Stuart Ferry shares the same pet hate. So you're quite right. And we look forward to Sunday. It's just a mouth-watering feast of racing, as it should be. As I said, Sunday can't come quick enough.
Certainly can't. And we've got Sanele as well. Sanele Mchunu, who is the first isiZulu commentator, and he's taken the racing world by storm. Sanele, good to have you. Good to be hearing from you on a consistent basis now in terms of commentating. And how was it calling the horses home for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July?
Thanks, Ryan. It was a scintillating moment to call that race. It was a privilege and an honor to be the first to do it in my own vernacular language. Yeah, and it was great.
We've also got Dees Dynant, and Dees is a man that's got a lot of racing knowledge, probably more racing knowledge than the rest of us combined. But Dees, good to have you. You may just be a better golfer than a tipster.
100%. I agree with that. That I agree with. You know, but love the golf, love the horses. My two passions. I must congratulate Sanele on a huge achievement. We're all proud of him. He's firmly part of the team, and it's about time that we had isiZulu a commentary. So well done, Sanele, on the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July commentary. And looking forward to this big race day. It is a massive race day when you include whirlpools, of course, and bring down the curtain on what has been a wonderful KZN champion season and a South African season. And besides the races that we're previewing, there is lots to play for on the day with regards to championships and Equus Awards and that type of thing. But an absolute pleasure being on the show. And Raheel, I expected more than water on the table.
Well, we'll keep that for after the show, Dees. Sereno, good to have you here as well. And it's been your best season to date with 79 winners. You're currently in 9th position on the national log, and Dees has played a big role in you getting a lot of nice rides along the way. But you've been committed, you've been dedicated to working hard, and you seem to have a nice book of rides on Sunday.
Yes, thanks, Ray. Obviously, thanks to you guys for having me, and I couldn't agree with you more. Dees has been a huge player in that, and just really grateful for Dees, to be quite honest. I've had a fair enough season, just really grateful to partner some nice horses such as Flagman. I think he's come at the right time, and just very grateful, yes.
Well, let's get straight into it. Race number 6 will be the first race that we do take you through. Race 6 gets underway at 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. It is the Mercury Sprint over 1,200 meters. It's a Grade 1 contest, and we've got a rerun for you. And that was off the Golden Horse Sprint, where Lucky Lad was the winner, and he comes into the race as the favorite. And some may say he could be a bank on the day, but let's take a look at that rerun.
Yeah, he's in an impossible position. I mean, you can see it. He's towards the back of the... I mean, Serena, at that stage, can you see him winning?
Yeah, at that stage of the race, look, it looks almost impossible. But, he's a top-class horse, and to win from that position, it takes a serious racehorse to do something like that.
At Hollywoodbets Scottsville, when you guys get into that final furlong, it's not visible on the eye, is it? But it is an incline, is it? It
is, yes. I mean, if you're standing at the 1,200, it's definitely an incline, and it's very hard for horse to come from that far back and win going away, So it was a really good win from him, and I think he's a serious racehorse.
Everything. Sorry to interrupt you, Raheel. Everything that Lucky Lad Dees gets asked to do, he does it. Even though he's in impossible positions. He just gets himself out of trouble. And as Serena said, sign of a champion racehorse. I mean, Sean Terry, after that Golden Horse, at least after the last win and at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, speechless. I mean, I remember doing the interview, he was absolutely speechless. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah, it was a wow performance. I mean, if you had to freeze frame that replay, even at the 200, and the bookmaker said, I'll refund your cash on Lucky Lad, you'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely take it. That's the way I saw it. Impossible, but... When you come to this race now, there's a train of thought that this race course has got his number.
It has, but as we are touching off here, it's been 1,600 meters that over that trip he hasn't been comfortable here at Hollywoodbets Greyville, and we know that he's had excuses as a juvenile. And then when he raced 2 starts back, I thought maybe a bit too quick for him after that Golden Horse Sprint.
So you're saying it's not the course, it's the distance. That's what I'm gonna state here. I don't know if Serena knows the horse better than all. He's raced against the horse. I don't know what Simi thinks, because...
Yeah, look, I feel, I've ridden him at home. He's a pleasant horse to ride back at home. He does in his own time, he's a lovely horse, and I just don't think he gets the mile, I just think he's more effective over the 1,200, and he's got to be a runner. I mean, he can come from anywhere and win, so the draw is not a concern at all. I obviously think you got to include a horse like... at my command, he's got, at that draw, he's going to be there.
Since they've dropped him in different horse?
He seems to enjoy the drop-in trip, His last 2 runs have been really good. I mean, he's run behind Lucky Lad, so you got to include him. He's got to go into something like this.
A horse like I Am Giant, I mean, last time out in the Post Merchants, he had no luck from the draw. 14, they dropped him out, gave him a chance, and he's got a 3 draw, and he wasn't disgraced in the Golden Horse Sprint, so he must be a horse that comes in with a bit of a squeak as well.
Yeah, it's a nice coupling, that 3-way coupling, should we say, from the Brett Crawford stable, the numbers 2, 3, and 5. We know that Zaki will have to ride for Kaya, that's why he's riding at my command. But, between I Am Giant and Sergey, I can't separate the two. I know there was lots of talk. Simi, I told you last time out about Sergey. I don't know if you can remember prior to the race day, I told you there's so much talk about Sergey. What type of run was that for you in the Golden Horse Sprint?
It wasn't such a bad run, but out of Brett Crawford horses, I'm leaning towards At My Command, due to running second to Lucky Lad and having drawn better. If you're talking about I Am Giant was drawn 14, At My Command was drawn 13.
Sure.
So, but managed to finish second to Cafe Culture. So, I think that's a live wire. I think this is a horse to beat.
If you had to tip them up, Sanele, who would be your top 4 here?
I'll start with At My Command, then I'll go to Lucky Lad. Then I'll go for 11 Gladiatorian. So you can't talk about this race and forget about Gladiatorian. It's been taken some stronger horses. Beaten Thunderstruck, I think, before. So this was.
He is talented.
He's very talented.
He's got a turn of foot.
So you can't leave it out.
I've got a horse in this race that I think if you are looking to play wider than just Lucky Lad, I think that this horse could be the ideal type of runner to provide an upset, and that's a 7-horse Sunblush, because last time out he's just got shuffled back in running at the 400. He was in fact behind Lucky Lad.
Good luck, Ryan.
All I'm saying
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that if you are looking for a result in race number 6, at
All the
33
best,
to 1,
Ryle,
you
all the
can't do
best.
worse than the
I don't-
That's my
7
horse
horse.
favorite. Dumiso
Yeah.
like that horse very, very
I
much.
don't think we're looking for a result. For me, well, what I'm looking for is a bit of a lurker for the exactors,
Yeah.
for the seconds and thirds. So I'm all in Lucky Lad,
Okay.
like you and Sereno. The two on my left seem to not maybe be all in. That's fine, but I'm all in Lucky Lad, and I'm looking for a lurker to run second. Sergey for me.
I'm going to give you the horse.
624 days for Sergey. He's done his time with me. I am Giant and Cruise Control are my two lurkers.
I'm going to give you the rough here, Warren.
Talk to us,
I
please.
promise you, when I state my case, Serena doesn't agree with me. I know the stakes don't matter because he's won the Gold Rush, and that's Royal Aussie. But he's a tremendous racehorse. Look at the field that he beat over 1,400 in the Drill All Stakes. Many were of the opinion that could be, a race that will test him against those type of horses. He made light work of it, the way he skated on the inside. 1,400 meters, Hollywoodbets Greyville. 1,200 meters, Hollywoodbets Scottsville. DeMello is in town. He's here for a holiday, but he's picked up some nice rides from Justin Snaith. If the speed is on Serena, this horse, maybe 1,400 meters is his game, but he's had 3 runs for 3 seconds over the distance. If the speed is on, and you look at the best weighted column, he is there. Maybe you could say he's earned his mark over slightly further, but if the speed is on, can you see him featuring?
Definitely, Deez. If you look at his form, he's probably more effective over the 1,400 meters.
Yes.
So this race could be speed dependent for him. If they go too hard, it could set the race up for a horse like this, and he could be finishing strongly. He's run to some really good horses. Charles Dickens is in there. And he's no slouch. So he's definitely got the ability, and if they go hard enough, I think it could set it up for a horse like this.
He's not top 4 of my top 4.
I was going to ask you about that. Where does he rank in your pecking order?
If I have to tip them 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
it's going to be 13,
Sure.
5,
Yeah.
11, and 3. And then you've given one horse number 7. For trifectas and quartets, my horse will be number 4.
you don't seem
Not for the win. Not for the win.
Are we all writing off Golden Sickle from gate 1?
I don't think 1,200 meters
Will she get
is-
home over the 12?
Yeah,
She
it's
tops
a
the
big
best
doubt
weighted
for
column,
me.
but 1,200, if she's winning 1,000 meters at Turfentine Serena and coming down to a 1,200 at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, it is much tougher for her.
Yes, it would. I think she's probably better over 5 furlong, but I think in this type of field, there's other horses that are better suited to the distance.
I've been tipped Snow Pilot by somebody at the gate as I drove in.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
ask me who it is.
Yeah, I think
But he
Snow
was
Pilot's
wearing
got
one
his-
of those yellow jackets. I
Okay.
think looking after the
Did
cars.
you tell him that they all start at the same
Correct.
time?
He told me, Snow. He said, what are you doing? I said, no, I'm going to record a show. He said, please tip them Snow Pilot.
Well,
Maybe he's following this table.
Again, my comment is just a bit of tongue-in-cheek, a bit of humour.
Yeah.
But Snow Pilot is a very good colt. Not my first choice, but certainly the gatekeeper's first choice.
What's
I
your
think
top
you got
four?
that spot on.
What's your top 4, Warren?
Raheel, 13, Lucky Lad. He's been so good to me. He's been so good to the racing industry. 12, huge respect for Cruise Control. He's not out of it. Don't worry about that last run. 5, At My Command. 7, Sun Blushed. And then, of course, I Am Giant, and can't be left out of anything. Royal Aussie. So for me, the places are tough. In or out, Lucky Lad for me.
So Nele, 3, At My Command, top choice.
At my command, Lucky Latsarian and Sachi.
Sereno, you don't have a ride in the race, but if you had to just look at the race, Lucky Lad would be far and clear at the top.
I think the better way to put it to Serena, if you had to pick a ride in the race. which
Okay,
horse would
let's
it
put it that way.
Yes, I'd probably pick Lucky Lad. I've been privileged enough to work him at home, and I just think he's a quality racehorse.
Well, that's race number 6. In the camp of Lucky Lad, yeah.
Gladiatorian,
he's,
by the way,
yeah.
Raheel, we have to, we just put in part of our selection. We must compliment Stuart Ferry. Done an excellent job with the horse. They chose, or they opted not to go for the race on the post-merchant.
On July Day.
On July Day.
Yeah.
They decided, no, we're going to give that a miss. This is his main aim, because I have chatted to Stuart at length about the horse, and this is his aim to possibly end off the season on a high.
Yeah,
when he won that race, 3 starts back, beating Good Traveller, I haven't seen a horse quicken up like that in a long time.
Yeah,
You're right.
Very, very impressive.
Before we wrap this race,
Yeah.
what is your first choice? I mean, we need to know what you like as well.
Well, I'm with Lucky Lad. I'm with Lucky Lad, but
Your value then.
the value is definitely the 7 horse Sunblushed at the price that it is. But
Rahil Radhakrishna owes me millions.
Dees forgets that it's been cutting down all the while. But we'll
He still
touch more
knows
on
he's
that.
in debt.
You're a good person to be in debt. You're a really friendly man.
So,
Well, we're going to move along to race number 7, which is the Whirlpool Gold Cup, a grade 3 over 3,200 meters. And race number 7 gets underway at 4:10. We've got 2 reruns for race number 7. We've got that off the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and the main focus will be on the horse that finished 6th in the race, that being Future Pearl, who comes into the Gold Cup as the defending champion and looking to make it 2 years in a row for Sean Terry. And we've also got a rerun of the Gold Vase, where Madison Valley was victorious, beating Shoot the Rapids, and Nebraska wasn't too far behind them. And Nebraska does get a decent pull at the weight, so he could be a bit of a lurker in race number 7. But let's take a look at those reruns.
Simulation, while we're looking at that rerun, obviously we're looking at Future Pearl and the famous Beck colours on the extreme right-hand side, and talking about horses really kicking on and finishing their race as well. Well, Future Pearl did just that, last year's winner.
Absolutely.
not even in the picture, guys.
Yeah,
Flew
not
from
even
the
in the
back to
picture.
finish 6th. That was a scintillating run. But I want to ask Serino about Aracosta, because it's going to be his ride on the Whirlpool Gold Cup. Right? Because he was riding there also. What did you learn from there?
Look, his penultimate run probably was his better run. You know, on that run you got to consider him in a race like this. We know he stays the trip, and look, obviously I think Future Pearl is definitely the horse to beat. You know, when that run in the July it was some sort of run. You know, from that through, and look, Aragosta must have a shot in a race like this.
We just saw the Gold Vase run, and Madison Valley was the winner then. It was a great race for Frank Robinson and owner Sid Moodley with the exact Madison Valley beat in Shoot the Rapids. But to some, it was a start of the pick 6 that day, and to some, it was a bit of a shock result that this horse managed to win in the manner which he did. He had 52 kgs on the back. He won at 16-1. He could only go up the 6 points for that win. He comes in with 54. What type of chance do you give him in this race, Dees? Because I think he's got his work cut out.
I like to start with the gentleman on my left, Serino, and you know he had kind words to say about me, but I always tell him, you know, to have success, it's about teamwork.
Yes.
You know, it takes 2 people to make it work. He does all the hard work, and I just press the buttons basically. So I do the tilers. I mean, he's the man that needs to be credited with the season that he's had. But what I want to ask you, Serino, is that you won on Madison Valley and you won on Shoot the Rapids early on in their careers. Did it surprise you that they ran so well over 3,000 last time?
Not at all. These, you know, they were just young horses and immature, and they had to improve, you know. And Mr. Robinson is a top-class horseman, and he always thought highly of these 2 horses, you know. And
Sure.
It's no surprise to see them in a race like this, you know, because they're horses that were definitely going to improve and go the trip as well. So, look, there's no surprise at all.
Can they follow up on those big performances on July Day? It's 3,000 meters. It's now 3-2. It's only a month apart.
Personally, I don't think so. At the weights, there's a few that I would consider before putting them in. I think they've got a place chances at best, but I think there's other horses in here that'll finish in front of them.
Other horses. I don't know how many horses you're going to be choosing, Warren, but I'm telling you now that on that July performance, knowing he's an Equus champion of last season in the Stays ranks, and the fact that he's just warming up to end of the season on a high, he looks super hard to oppose, doesn't he?
He certainly does. These Future Pearl certainly does look hard to oppose. You know, Sean Terry, master craftsman, he picks these races, he prepares them, he gets them to warm up right, you know, at the right moment. His stable companion, we saw the rerun there of Nebraska, and I was chatting to 2 of his new owners, Gary and Sturgio, over supper before the July, and they said they were so excited they just bought into Nebraska. You know, and you might think, well, he's a 7-year-old. Yeah. He's not done for this horse. He showed in his last run running 3rd to Madison Valley. I'd like to believe that Sean Terry will run 1st and 2nd, Future Pearl and Nebraska.
Yeah, he's definitely a horse that I think we've sort of just forgotten about, because he seemed to lose his way a bit throughout his 7-year-old career. He hasn't won for 484 days. But
let me tell you, CV, in 2021, he won the Gold Vase. He went on to win the Gold Cup. In 2022, he won the Craddock Gold Cup, won the Gold Bowl. In 2024, he's yet to win. In fact, he's yet to win the season. So it could be a tremendous end, because I've always followed him, through his association with Lyle Hudson, who always rated the horse. And last time out, the signs were there, but I couldn't see him getting there. I watched that replay numerous times, and I just couldn't see him getting there. The one thing that I want to find out from Sereno, and he would have watched, he wouldn't have known what was happening behind him in the Hollywoodbets Durban July. But you would have watched the replay, and when that horse of Mike de Kock, Shoemaker bled, and then Concertina Effect, see it again, Master Redoubt. That type of incident, I'm going to say it affected Master Redoubt finishing much closer in the July.
Yes, Deez, I would have to agree with that. It does, especially in a race like that. You don't want something like that to happen. You lose a lot of momentum in running, and I think this horse is a horse that could go close in this race. If you look at his staying form, it's very strong.
Yes.
You got to consider, if you consider him, you got to consider the Snate horse, Future Swing, because their form lines are pretty close. But that horse is 5 lengths, call it 5 lengths in the July. It should be closer, because he lost a lot of ground when that horse bled, and you can probably put a line to that run in the July. So this horse has got to be a runner in the race. Obviously you got Mr. Terry's runner is a huge runner. Yeah, I think he's the horse we all have to beat. But there's a few in here like Master Redoubt and Future Swing you got to include, and obviously myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just Future Pearl is the horse to beat in your opinion, and obviously you'd like to win it.
But like that, Sanela?
Yes, I like it a lot.
We spoke about it, and he's a horse that he's got a chance in this race here for exactas, trifectas, and quartets.
You know what I'm going to say here, guys? I think that could have been the best result for him to now perform at his best in the Gold Cup. Because, he wasn't punished. Corne knew his fate early at the top of the straight. He was never going to get there. I'm not going to say he was taking care of the horse or anything, but he wasn't given a hard punishing right to do anything after what happened.
Yes.
So, compared to other runners in that race that, were absolutely tuned on the day, those that performed in earlier races, he's the type of horse that I'm going to, for lack of a better word, he had a soft run there. So coming into this race, if Sereno is right that the trip is no issue for him, he must be a massive, massive runner there. So that's your second choice, Sumi?
Yes, that's my second choice.
Third and fourth?
My third will be Raise Hallelujah in Zeus.
Sanela, what's your surname again?
Kunu.
So you're not a son of Raj, eh? You're a son of Nkunu.
Nowhere close. I'm a Devonite, but I'm not a son of Raj.
Warren, how do you see race 7?
My selections are Future Pearl for first to beat Nebraska. If they had to, if Nebraska had to beat Future Pearl, I wouldn't be shocked.
So we're all writing off one-way traffic now. We've had enough.
Let me finish these. We haven't got there yet. Okay. And then Master Redoubt is my third choice.
Yes.
And then now this is where the question I want to bounce back at you. We're all in the camp of the favourite.
Yes.
Often, or sometimes in the past, the Whirlpool Gold Cup has thrown home a bit of a roughie.
Especially bottom weights.
Correct. So if it were to be this year, who would it be? Maybe, one-way traffic.
Aragosta.
Aragosta, absolutely. I like Baratheon. My roughie's Baratheon.
Oh, where are you coming from now, Warren?
So now you want to ask me if they all start.
He's coming with a sunblast and you.
We take the
You
place
all
double.
seem to be coupled on a tote for the show.
No, I think Baratheon is my value for the quartets to run third or fourth.
Yeah.
That's my value.
Yeah, Deez,
It's
you?
been Devon for a long time.
Yeah, I'm all in with the favourites. I like Lucky Lad in race number 6.
So Beck,
Mercury.
Fourie, Terry, double.
It looks that way. Purely, what happens? What's the big influence on these big race days? I'm not saying it happens to all, but it happens to the majority.
Yeah.
It's the dollar signs, the rand signs that influences us. You see these big pools, and then you try and look for the diamonds and something that is not there. And most of the time, the cream rises to the top, especially in these feature races. I also get influenced on some race days where I can clearly see it, but I want to play for the result. I want to grab the big cash. I want to go home a big winner, and it doesn't happen. I end up costing myself a lot of money. So on this race meeting, I've taken a stance. Lucky Land, boom. Future Pearl, boom. Those are going to be the two bankers. I like those a lot. I like an exacta Rail, and I'm hoping it'll be more than 2, 4, 6, 7 rand. I'm sure it'll pay more than 7 rand. 6 a banker, but 1, 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 13. That's what I like.
Okay, so 6 a banker, 1, 3, 5, 9, 10, 11, and 13. And yeah, I think I agree with Warren. He's top 3 at least. Nabras, Master Redoute, and I've included Sereno's ride number 10, Aragosta, for that 4th position. And I thought his run in the Derby was quite a nice run, when 1 length behind Future Pearl. And if Future Pearl is a good thing on his run in the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, well, Aragosta could have a bit of a squeak to get in for trifectas and quartets. We're going to move along to...
Just quick before we move along, with regards to one-way traffic, he's certainly got a chance.
I thought you said before we move along, the lunch has arrived.
Oh, no, lunch is for just now. We're going to the oyster box, I think.
Okay.
The thing that does worry me with one-way traffic
Yeah.
is he's certainly making us wait for his next win. That's the only
too
thing
long
that-
now.
Too long, these. That's
Yeah,
the
it's not
problem.
one-way traffic. This is like a freeway of traffic.
Traffic jam. It's like a traffic jam.
So,
Anyway, let's move along
it's certainly been a long time since his last win, 757 days for one-way traffic. But we're going
give us a mark out of 10 for Aragosta before we leave, for the guys that are Serena Moodley followers. If you had to mark him out of 10 for places, at least.
I'd give him a 9 out of 10.
That's a big
See,
rating
boys,
there.
asked the right.
I tell you why. There's a few things that we found back at home, and we've done a few equipment changes you would have seen. And
Yes.
look, I think, and I felt that he's definitely benefited the horse. So I've got to say, for places, I've got to give him a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, nice to get a chance from Mike the Cock as well. Well
Definitely,
done with
it's just an absolute privilege to ride for someone like that.
Happy with race 7. We've touched on
let's
majority.
move along. Bring the hammer down.
Yeah.
Race 7.
Let's go on to race number 8 next up, and this is arguably the race that we all are waiting to see on the day.
What a
This
field.
is, what a field indeed. He's the HKJC Champions Cup over 1800 meters, and this is a grade 1, 16:50 the off time. Rerun of the horses in the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and we've got 9 of the 10 runners that took their place in Africa's greatest horse racing event, and the only one horse that did not run was David the King, who comes into the race with fresh legs. But let's have a look at that race, and we'll take you through the concluding stages of the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And the horse that finished second was Cousin Casey.
I think we should give this to Serena, and maybe he can talk us through the emotion he's feeling at this stage.
Remember, you're not allowed to swear.
Look, at that point of the race, I was going really good. I had the perfect horse. I always thought that was the horse to beat in the race at the weights. And
You tackled him early.
yes, I just didn't know how much he had left in the tank. We did gallop for that first part of the race. And
Look at Sira Kane there. When they're going to close the cap and Striker had to pull it back.
Yeah, very unlucky.
See, very
Yeah,
unlucky.
you
At
can't go-
1300, he had
You
that
can't go
incident
to
now
a
there.
gap that's not there.
But now, this time there will be a cap for Striker.
You can't force your way.
Serena, going back to Flagman, and as Dee's touched on, you headed him at the top of the lane. You got a length or maybe 2 lengths on him, but he's a horse that just fought back, and he fought back all the way to the line. And your horse, you were a bit unlucky not to finish third in the race.
yes, look, I don't think I got a length clear of him. I probably got a head in front of him. And that it was a very good win from Mr. Kofu's horse, and look, he's a game horse. He doesn't lay down. I got a crucial bump at the last 100. So, he faltered when he got that bump. And look, I thought it was a great run. At the weights, it was a tough task. And he's a top horse. For a 3-year-old to run that close in the July, I thought it was a very good run.
How's he taken his run in the July?
No, he takes his runs really good. He comes out of them pretty good, and he's doing very well back at home. I can't fault him at all, and he's enjoying himself at the moment.
So you're not concerned about the run 22 days ago?
No, not at all.
happy,
If you look at the field,
They're all correct, all in the same boat,
yes.
barring Dave the King.
Poor Dave the King. So look, not at all, not a concern.
It's really nice to see these 3-year-olds, take their place here. It's a tough ask this time around, because as you'll see by the best weighted column, beside a horse like Flagman who's there, it's really tough for Purple Pitcher and Barbaresco to raise their game. But when you look at the field, and we're going nuts and bolts now, guys, we all do our homework, we have a look at the weight turnarounds, etc. There's no doubt that this race looks tailor-made for Seed again, doesn't it?
Yes, if you look at the weights, he's got to be clear of this field. And you must remember now it's his third run after a race, so he's probably going to be at his best this time around.
Correct.
He would have tightened up after the July, and it was a very good run. He should have probably finished third in the July. It was just unfortunate, but these things happen in races, and as much as he's favoured at the weight, I think horses don't run on paper, they run on grass. So anything can happen. We saw what happened in the last start, so it's not going to be cut and dry. He's obviously the horse to beat, I have to agree with that, but I think there's a few in here. I mean, if you look at Flagman, he came from draw 17, raced up onto the speed. With being, I mean, the handicap, in my own opinion, had him at the weights there. I mean, he carried quite a big weight. So if you look at it that way, see it against the horse to beat, but you cannot leave out Flagman.
So from what you've just said, to understand it, see it against your biggest danger.
I would agree. I mean, if you're looking at weights, see it against got to be the horse to beat, and he's drawn 10. You know, it's a small field, so for horses like this, draws don't really matter. He comes from off the speed anyway. So I think I'll have a more cozier run. You know, and there's a bit of speed in the race, so I think see it against the horse to beat, he's probably my biggest danger.
Sanele, to you, because I know for the Hollywoodbets Durban July, the lead up to the race, you are all over Barbaresco. This is the right horse. I'm telling you, Gavin Larina's going to produce the goods. He cut down with Kometi, then he's cutting down for a reason, yeah. Are you in his camp or are you looking past him?
I'm looking past him in this race. I think.
Why are you going past him now?
I think this race is tailor-made for all the horses, See It Again and Royal Victory.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how we all see things differently? You, for the Hollywoodbets Durban July, we're all in Barbaresco. I couldn't have him.
Yeah.
This race on Sunday, you going against him, I think he's a massive runner. You know,
he's not the easiest customer. You know, beside his form and everything, I'm sure Serena would have watched him in the race. You need to settle this horse. You know, if he doesn't settle and he doesn't give you any help, he can run very good or average. And I don't know if this track suits him. I know that he ran that one excellent race behind Greenwood Envy, and last time out wasn't the worst, Warren. But I would say wherever Barbaresco finishes, Flagman will be in front of him.
I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's worse off at the weights as well with Flagman. He's
I want to touch on something with Sereno. You know, it's just maybe it is off the topic, but we know that cousin Casey ran an absolute blinder last time out. Sereno, you know, please don't get me wrong. I'm all for cruelty against animals and that type of thing, but I just want to touch on Hollywoodbets Durban July Day. You know, from my side, it's 50,000 people. It's the biggest crowd that we ever get on a racetrack. Number one. You guys in the jockey room, you're all pumped up. You'll go down to the start. I'm sure when the starter says go, you can even hear the roar of the crowd. On a normal race day, it must be tough to know, you know, how many cracks off the whip that you can give a horse. But on that race day, it's the biggest race on the continent. You in a race. I mean, do you hit the front or you have a horse running on? Do you even have time to count the number of strikes? I mean, let's be on that race day, not on any other race day, on that race day itself. Do you even think about that?
Look, I've fallen victim to that contravention on numerous occasions, you know, and on a day like this, it's not easy. There's a lot that goes into a big race day like this. You got owners, you got trainers, you know, they do a lot for these horses, and you know, it's very hard. I mean, you're going to the line, you're almost fetching the winner. In Smanga's circumstances, you know, he was almost going to win the race, and the last thing you're going to do in the last 50 is count your crop. So it's very difficult, and look, it's rules are rules, and you got to abide by them.
I understand that totally, but I'm just, you know, because on that race day, I was just thinking, I mean, do you guys even have time to, especially if you're in a winning position?
Yeah, look, in Smanga's position, I actually feel him sorry, because I think that's the last thing going through your mind. You know, you want to get. I mean, he came from 3/4 of the way back, and you got to find a run in the July.
Second to last, nearly.
So that's the last thing you want to remember is counting your crop use.
Good point.
It's one of those things, and look, like I said, rules are rules, and unfortunately, Smanga fell victim to the day.
I agree with you 100%. Rules are rules, but I just wanted to get into the mindset of a jockey on that day, because no matter what you can say, it's not like any other race day.
100%.
Even for a punter, it's not like any other race day. I mean, that day, both your pockets were full with cash, right? Not one.
But just before talking about that, it's how many strikes?
It's 12.
So it's 12 strikes. So now you're coming to, with 50 meters to go, you're on your 12th strike. You know, you've got no more strikes left in the tank. You've got 50 meters to go.
Strike a match.
Yeah, well, that's what you're going to. Are you going to, you know what I'm saying, you know, do you hit it 13 times?
That's what I wanted to ask. I mean, that's what I wanted to ask.
You know, it's a hell of a decision to make.
Let's get the top four, Warren. What's your top four?
Sure. This race, I mean, you can make a case, Raheel, for absolutely everybody, and we could go on and on and on. And
I'm going 10 to win.
Okay, 10
to win. Okay, D's
10 to win. Second to the gentleman on my left,
Right.
which is Flagman. Third to 9, and 4 to 1.
I'm going 1 Cousin Casey,
Yeah.
6 Flagman, 9 Dave the King, and 5 Barbaresco. Back into quartets is a bit of value.
Sunday
But
night?
it's-
Serena,
Favorites out of the top 4.
I'm going for the older horses here at Sita Game,
Yes.
Cousin Casey, Royal Victory, and Serena to close off the quartet Flagman.
Just
Yeah.
before we move on, I mean, you got to include this who's double superlative.
Yes.
I think he's
Cherry
running.
her up.
Yeah, I'm
He's
glad
run-
you touched on him.
I was hoping you don't bring this up.
But never mind that, we're giving our first 4, which is great, but this kind of race, you could run it 10 times, 10 different
Yes.
selections. I mean, we're giving our first 4. If we can get a straight line quartet, we'll retire, and it's impossible. So, other horses have got chances. Let's talk about double
that
superlative.
double superlative, the one thing that I will say from my side through my conversations and interviews with Justin, is that he said if he only had one more run going into the July, it'll be no race. Now he's got the one more run going into the Champions Cup.
And he's got the draw. He came from draw 16 from the back of the field. He's had the 1 run and he's drawn 2, so he's got to be considered.
Huge runner.
I think he's one of the leading lights in this race.
They priced him up 25 to 1, Serena. He's now been back into 16 to 1. What are you telling us? Let's not preview race number 9 and go and have a bet.
I wasn't riding in the race.
Well, there you go.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. I mean, that'll be it doesn't form part, but you can see, have a look at my book, right? What have I written there?
1, 2, 6, 9, 10.
But I can only tip 4 horses.
Yeah.
So that's my.
But
my
you've stuck to your rule. It's 5.
That's it.
There we go. So it's
100%.
double
Royal
superlative.
Victory. Royal Victory, he's not out of it. Are we writing off Purple Picture? If he goes to the front,
Yeah, I think he's got his work cut out.
I think he's got his work cut out, but I wouldn't be shocked if he won. Would you be shocked?
Yes.
You would. Okay, at least you're honest.
I
would be shocked.
After the July race, no, I will be shocked.
Yeah, but
I
number
wanna see-
2.
I want to see him go to the front.
Fate.
Yeah, certainly number 2, double superlative, 1, 2, keep an eye on there. But see it again, the one to beat in race number 8. Finally, race number 9. This will be the final race that we do preview, and that is Riding High Together Gold Bracelet over 2,000 meters. 5:30 is the off time. This is a grade 2, and we're going to have a look at the rerun of the Willavington. And there were a couple of horses that were a bit unlucky in the Willavington, and the horse that finished second was number 6, Hold My Hand, finished second. Beaten Wings was back in the 3rd position. But filly that I think we need to give healthy respect to was Sarki, because she was terribly unlucky. She got taken up at a crucial point in the race by Beaten Wings and Hold My Hand. And we'll play that rerun, and we'll have a look at the concluding stages of the race there. And Sarki's on the far right.
Have a look at this, what happened.
Yeah.
This is...
You can see Hold My Hand with the orange cap and Beaten Wings there.
No.
Yeah.
That was my cash getting thrown in the bin. And that one.
Yours and mine, Deez.
You said you can't go when there's no cap.
Yeah. No, there was a gap there. There was a gap, but Hold My Hand, Beating Wings come across, and they go on to run 2nd and 3rd in the race.
Only time you can take a gap is if you got a taxi.
But these race 9, it is a big field. We know that.
I'm going to tell you this now.
Yeah.
I've done my job for the show.
Yes.
I've tipped you, Banker Lucky Lad.
Yes.
And I've tipped you, Banker Future Pearl. You were sitting on the fence both those races.
Okay.
So I think I've done my job with the bankers.
You want me to tip your horse
It's
now?
up to the guys now to try and work this out, because I can't make heads or tails of this.
Yeah.
I'll give you some information on Beating Wins through my association with Dylan Chinswami. They had options for this horse. When I say options, the Garden Province, or maybe even nominating for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville July. They opted out of both those races with an aim to possibly come for this race at the end of the season. Stuart Pettigrew is actually a great tactician when it comes to that. He's got years of experience. He's a great horseman. Many good horses have passed through his hands. So you have to respect a trainer's decision on what route they want to take with the horse. All about planning.
Yes.
And Serena will tell you from working with horses, if you don't have a plan for a good horse, you're going nowhere. And they had a plan with this horse to aim for this race. She's got a nice draw. And if you go on her best runs, I mean, even her runs behind Gimme Another, the fact that she's run so close to Francis Ettel, And you saw that rerun in the Will Havington, where the Will Havington we know is open to older horses.
correct.
That was a great run from her number 6 beating me. So that's some information about her. But I agree with you guys about Saruki. I'll tell you where the value is, and then I can hand over to you guys to possibly have a discussion. Sereno, number 14, Hold My Hand, priced up at 12 to 1 when we recorded the show, which was some time earlier. I don't know whether that will last. Purely on the weights, better off at the weights with a horse like Beating Wins, 2.5 kgs. And I know that she's erratic, she's in and out, but I think she's got the right man up in Richard Fourie. If she can repeat that Will Havington run, I say she wins.
Yeah, I think she's got to be a big runner. And Sereno, just to touch on your ride in the race, Lady of Power now, a filly that you haven't ridden in the past, but she comes into the race as a very fit horse. She ran on just on the 20th of July, so that would have been 8 days earlier when finishing 4th. And how are you feeling going into the race?
Look, obviously, I don't know much about her. I'll obviously speak to Mr. Ezzy and the team about her, but, my only concern is, if I look at it, she seems to be better over a mile. Her better runs have come over shorter trips, and look, she'll have a cozy run from draw 3, so I'll give her every chance from that draw, but my only concern is if I'm looking at the form, she seems better over shorter.
Yeah, that's the 3 horse. Warren, your thoughts on race number 9? It is the final leg of the pick 6, and you heard from Dees, he's gone lighter early on, Lucky Lad, Future Pearl, possibly even see it again, but race number 9, he's gone the field. Are you going the field as well, or how are you looking to structure in race 9?
I agree with Dees. If budget will allow, you have to. If you can't afford the field, you have to go as many as possible. The only thing that I can bring to the table for the 9th race is that if Happy Chance had won the Ridgemont Garden Province at odds of 33 to 1 last time, I probably wouldn't be sitting in this chair. I'd be on a hammock in Mauritius.
Oh, is it?
And I'm not going to turn my back on her. I think she's a massive runner. She's a good filly for Hollywood Syndicate. It's her 3rd run back. It was an outstanding performance last time. I know she's drawn a little awkwardly. She was drawn best last time. A big tick for her. I think she's the one they have to beat. And then the next comment I'm going to make is that I'm looking forward to seeing Raskova going over 2,000
You think
meters.
she'll stay?
I think she will. I think she will. She might run 10th and not stay. I don't know. But that's why I'm simply saying I'm looking forward to seeing her.
One thing I will tell you, if you're going to use the siblings as a yardstick, you're not going to go for it. So don't even look that up.
Correct.
They sprinted and they best to a
Correct,
mile.
yeah.
So if you don't even look that up, if you think on what you've seen and how she races and how they're going to race her, then go for her. But if you're going to try and look up stuff, you're going to be put off.
And I chatted to Chad Little on our podcast, and he said he is in the same boat as me. They're looking forward to seeing her run. They've got to try it. If she doesn't stay, they'll come back to shorter. So I'm just saying I'm looking forward to seeing Raskova over the 2,000. We'll know a lot more after the race. But in closing, for me, Happy Chance. We're not going to get 33 to 1, I don't think, but I think she can go one better this time.
So
I don't know anyone is on my camp. I'm looking at a horse like Future Girl. Carrying 58, it has ran before here in Hollywoodbets Greyville at 2,000 and came second to Sati.
3 kgs worse off for me.
Yes, but it was drawn 16 out of 16. Now Sati is
Saki
drawn
was drawn
15.
in the bush as well.
Yeah, was drawn, I think, 12 or 11. But this one was drawn 16 out of 16 with carrying 58.5 kgs. I think this was with Louis Mklocho.
Yeah.
This horse can run a big race, and it can win this race also.
Yeah, Future
And then
Girl,
the way
at
it
least.
ran on coming from behind.
We're talking about punting horses, and Warren's talking about sitting on a hammock in Mauritius. I think I would have been on Mars if that thing won.
Yeah, that's
That day. I really like the horse. I really like the horse, Future Girl. Mala said it did little wrong that day.
And Dees, you could work out how I took that defeat, because where did Happy Chance run at the top of the show? As Raheel mentioned, my pet 8.
Yes.
That was a half a long nose Happy Chance. I didn't take that well at all.
It looks like a difficult race, guys. I as I said, if I had to give you my top 4 in order of preference, which I'm pushed to do, it'll be 40. I like that. Hold My Hand. I've never been a fan of hers because it took so long to get that second career win, which she did. But I'm just going to judge her purely on one run, and that's the Will Havington. If she runs to a form in the Will Havington, I know she was running around causing some interference and that type of thing, but if she runs to that, I think she'll go close. My second choice will be number 6, Beating Win, so 14 to beat 6. My third choice is going to be Warren's selection, number 10, Happy Chance. And then my fourth choice will be number 15, Sarki. So that's going to be my top 4 in the race. Maybe those other horses I'll include in the place accumulator.
Yeah, I think 6 and 15 are other 2 horses to play around. But gents, thanks very much for your time and for the insight into races 6 up until race number 9. Hopefully all goes according to plan. And D. Sereno, looking forward to the meeting on Sunday.
Yeah, I just like to thank Sereno for taking up the time. It's a busy time of the week. You've got feature races coming up. You've got a lot of work to do with horses and steps. Not just coming to a racetrack with a guy like Sereno. And that's, please, I like all of them. All of them are my mates. All the jockeys are my mates. But because I'm in his corner, I'd just like to say he's been outstanding this year, and I'm absolutely proud of his achievements. So well done with that, Sereno. And it's been a pleasure being on the show as well.
Dees, quick one. Best bet on the card for you.
Oh, I've given you the double.
He's throwing us that curveball.
I've given you the double.
He's throwing us that curveball.
I'm not shy for that type of thing.
Yeah.
I've given you the double, that Lucky Lad onto Future Pearl. It's not about, that's the 4 races that you got. Now, thankfully, we're only doing the 4 races because I've got to given you another 2 best bets.
Oh,
I'll keep that one in the
we'll
pocket.
wait for Gold Cup Day. Warren, for you?
Does it have to be in the races that we've
No.
previewed? On the
main
day.
night, yeah, on the day.
Second race, Rodeo Drive.
Sanile?
See you again.
See it again.
Hong Kong Jockey Club
Yeah,
Champions.
I agree with Sanile. I think see it again could be very hard to beat.
Yeah, you need to just.
Champions
I
Cup.
wish you all the best for the big race day as well, Sereno. And in closing, you're not used to this type of thing. You enjoyed it.
Yes, these, it's just fantastic. I think I've done one with Mr. Inferno before,
Yes.
so kind of used to it. But look, it's just fantastic to be here. Whirlpool's just great for racing, and just fantastic. Just thanks to each and every one of you.
Yeah. And of course, as you mentioned before we wrap up, it's a curtain closer. It's the
season,
closes the season here in KZN, and I think hats off to all the production team in the country, D's, not just KZN, but everybody has their seasons. It's not easy trying to steer the punters in the right direction, and a lot of people come under flack for it. We can't get it right all the time, and I think to each and every production person that delivers our product around the country needs a big round of applause.
Yeah, 100%. And Gallop TV, thanks to the guys behind the scenes. All the best with racing on Sunday out at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Hopefully, we've managed to help you and guide you in the right direction, and hopefully you find yourself in the winner's queue.
Get ready for one of the most thrilling events of the season, the Whirlpool Gold Cup Race Day. This July 28th, join us for a spectacular showcase of equine excellence with 8 graded races in one exhilarating event. Feel the excitement as these magnificent athletes push themselves to the limit over the demanding 3,200-meter track. Will a new champion emerge, or will Future Pearl and champion jockey defend their title? Don't miss out on this unforgettable day of top-tier racing as we close the season with high stakes and electrifying action at Hollywoodbets Greyville Racecourse. It's not just a race, it's a test of endurance, courage, and the relentless pursuit of victory.